Ducati Monster 797 2017 first tried review of returning Monsterino of motorcycles. My previous test ride of a Ducati Monster was an eye-opener. The 1200S was the first mean motorcycle I had grasped by the handlebars. It was controlled and calculated and smooth when I needed it to be, then wild and unpredictable and aggressive when mostly my colleagues, wanted it to be. The test ride with my first Duck started as a wild goose chase and ended as an Italian-guided tour of the French Riviera. And in the end, enthusiasm for the vessel was quite evident in my post report. To test the Ducati family's newborn Monsterino, an endearing term the company uses for smaller displacement iterations, I traveled, again, to the south of France, this time to the sleepy tourist town of Théoule-sur-Mer. The air-cooled, yet still Euro 4 compliant Monster 797 harkens back to its M600 heritage with a sophisticated style and simple application. It should be mentioned, I refer to this entire lineup of Ducatis in the feminine form. Why? Because what else is as devilishly alluring as a clever, classic, confident, well-bred woman? Okay, men, too, can be all of the above and more, but the Monster lineage uses sex appeal. And she looks best naked. The curves on the 17 models are soft in all the right places with a slender waist and prominent chest. Their muscle structure is toned but not bulky. An exposed full-length tubular trellis frame keeps the 797's figure solid from head to tailbone, while the 1200 sheds unnecessary weight from her rump to make up for her heavier rib cage. The two share a tank that's scandalously easy to unlatch with their infamous ski boot buckle closure at the nape of their neck. Even the LED headlights, also identical, have a come-hither stare. All that, adding to an already phenomenal, zippy, and responsive personality, make the contemporary Monster series more relatable to womankind than some of its more brutish, showboating competitors. They don't have to prove themselves. So, having merely 425 wet pounds to contend with, the bike could slide out from beneath you before you knew it was in motion. You want wheelies? It'll give you wheelies. Drag knees? The standard Pirelli Diablo Rosso 2 tires, tight riding position, and silky throttle response will ensure you scrape up your leathers before you've even worked up the courage. But why are we talking about the execution and aesthetic? Ducati hasn't skimped in the department they're really famous for. The Monster family's first roundup of 600s, 700s and 800s would, for many, prove that point. But today, the 797 puts that idea to bed without foregoing its intended approachability. Borrowing inspiration from the athletic 1200S figure and no-fuss M600 philosophy, this beginner bike is polished, refined, and strong. The L-twin-engine purrs and idle and roars on the road. It might not bark as loud as a more ferocious motorcycle, but the bite still hurts all the same. And she goes fast, real fast. The rear tire glues to the ground when you want to goose the front wheel up. And when it's time to stop, the Brembo brakes and Bosch 9.1 MP ABS system with internal pressure sensor brings the bike to screeching halt, minus the screech. Meanwhile, what made the slow bits better for me was the Agreeable seat height. Stock at 31.69 inches, a shorter disposition like mine will be quite at ease commanding this featherweight motorbike, while a tall frame shouldn't feel clownish for scrunching into a compact riding position. Though, there's an aftermarket option for those who are concerned. A rider of average stature will find the Monster 797's height, weight, shape and appeal like baby bear's porridge, just right. If an approachable, affordable and aesthetically pleasing Ducati is the goal, this entry-level model is your huckleberry. It lets you be the master of your ride, allowing you to take it easy or to the limit. And it lets you actually be that person you've wanted people to see aboard your bike, confident, cool, and maybe a little reckless. As a Ducatista or Monsteristi, part of the big Italian family. On the Monster 797, you're all of that. If you want to be.